This is my first time reviewing the Google Pixel, and this right here is the Google Pixel 7 Pro. And I have to say it's fairly aggressively priced at £849 here in the UK. And in this video we're going to take a look and see how well it works, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and impressions, and we'll take a closer look at some of the new features. If you are new here, do hit that subscribe button. I will be putting this head to head against my iPhone 14 Pro Max to see if the £850 phone stands up against a £1,200 phone and see where the value for money is. But that video is coming soon. And if you want to see something specific in that video, drop me a comment down below. First, let me start with the tech specs of the phone. It has a large 6.7 OLED display which has a refresh rate of 120 Hz, and it has a max brightness of 1500 nits. It has the new Google Tensor processor, which is the G2 model, a 5000 mAh battery which should give you 24 hours plus battery life, and it's the same size as the Samsung S22 Ultra. The Pixel 7 Pro comes with 3 cameras on the back. It has a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens, a 50 megapixel wide lens, and a 48 megapixel telephoto lens. Now on paper that seems fairly impressive, but we're going to put that to the test later on in this video and we will take a look at how it fares. This isn't a comparison video, but just to give you an idea against Apple and Samsung's flagship phones, the S22 Ultra has 2 telephoto lenses at 10 megapixels, 108 megapixel wide angle, and 12 megapixel ultra wide. And the iPhone 14 Pro Max comes with a 48 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 12 megapixel telephoto lens. But we'll save the photo comparisons for another video. There is one feature that Google is currently listing as coming soon on the website, and that's the Google One VPN. This basically means you will always have a VPN on your phone for you to keep your data safe and secure. This will work inside any application or web browser. In the fine print below at the bottom though, if you read it carefully, it does say some data will not be transmitted through the VPN, but it doesn't specifically say what that is. It seems to be exclusively with this phone, unless you have the Google One Premium plan, which in that case the Google One VPN comes with it as standard. Also, this is not going to be available in all the countries, and it doesn't specify which ones it will be available in. In terms of updates, Google will allow you 3 years worth of software updates for the Pixel Pro 7 and 5 years worth of security package updates. So you'll be happy to know as long as the phone hardware doesn't give up, you'll be able to keep this phone for at least a little while. Now that's the hardware out of the way, let's take a look at what makes this phone so smart. The Google Tensor G2 chip is supposed to make this the smartest phone ever, but let's just see how well that works. This has got to be probably one of my most favourite features of the phone. You can see it does live captions for you, so you can choose at the start of the call or you can keep it on by default, and the system goes ahead and lets the other person know that there's something happening. Then you can see the live transcribing of the software, which is another really cool feature. Then you can go ahead and just type a message back that when you send the message, it will automatically say it on the other side.
Hello.
Now, just to add to this feature, if it's not already useful enough, if you're not able to talk, you can use a robot voice. You also have a live translate as well, and you can use any of these 5 languages. So you just select the language, you go ahead and download it. You can choose the captions in whatever language you also want as well. The one feature I think is really cool, that's the call automation. So whereas before you would be on hold, looking at the menus, listening, waiting for it to appear, it now appears on the screen. So you can click through and you don't need to wait for all of the options to be said. You now have the return of the face unlock, but I think it's been mentioned a number of times already, there's a single camera on the front and nothing else, so it does not work that great in the dark. One thing to note is it can't be used on any applications, it is just to unlock the phone. Now the camera is where I think a lot of the phone uses most of its processing power, and that's because of how much post-processing happens. With the Pixel 7 Pro, they've introduced photo unblur. What that means, you can take any photo that you've taken recent years and you can go ahead and use the unblur tool to make it a little bit more clearer. Now I tried taking a blurry photo with the Pixel Pro 7, it just doesn't happen. You have the macro feature, which is only available on the Pixel 7 Pro. So you can get really up and close and personal with your subjects and get those amazing looking photos with great detail. And you can see some of the images that I popped up on the screen, how detailed they are. You have the cinematic blur, so you can keep your subject in focus while blurring out everything else. And this works quite well for some B-roll too. I wanted to see also how well the night mode worked, So I took this outside and took some photos, and you can see how well this appears in the dark. We also have the motion mode, which you can choose the long exposure or the action pan. So here's a picture of the long exposure and how well that works. The action pan I had a bit more fun playing with. It does take a little bit of getting used to try and get this working properly. Within the video features, you also have active mode for those heavy movement shots. So you can see me walking down the street here, and what's actually quite good about this, and again, not to compare this to the iPhone, but the iPhone will show you the shaky picture. But when you look at the video post-processed, it gets rid of it. With the Pixel Pro 7, it stabilizes the image as you're watching. So you don't need to see the shaky image and wait for the post-processing to be completed. So that's a really good feature on here. Though the action cam works really well in the daytime, at night it really isn't that good at all. You can see from the video it's all shaky and grainy. If this is a feature you're really wanting to use, it's not something that you will even be able to use at night at all. You'll also have the cinematic pan to get those nice smooth slow motion cinematic shots, as you can see on this demo just here. For the battery, there are some reports out there already that they're not so good, and there's some out there that are saying it's really good. I have to say, having used this for a few days, I've had no issues at all with the battery. I can get through the day comfortably, and there is still some battery left over. That being said, from a complete flat battery, or around about 8 to 9% is pretty much dead, it's going to take you about an hour and 47 minutes to a full charge. Overall, I'm relatively impressed with this phone model at £849. It makes it really aggressively priced on the market, and the features on the phone make it really good value for money. Let me know down in the comments below if you have one of these, or how you're finding it. Have you upgraded from a Pixel 6? And let me know your thoughts. The link for the product is down in the description below. It does help me out if you do use them. This is InsideWire, and I'll see you in the next one.